guys? Welcome to the channel. It's Adam and ND72. So today we got my SLK32 AMG in my nice little home garage. So what we're going to be doing today is something that's a little bit shocking and hopefully will help out my performance and make this car take it to the next level of going a little bit faster. Now let's kind of go over why I might need this modification before we show it to you. So right now I got my SLK32. The fastest we've been in the car in the quarter mile is 11.0. Now that was with us spinning a little bit out of the hole. So we need to stop that from happening again. So you might think, how will we do this? I now have Mickey Thompson's on the car. Before I had the Nitto's NT55Rs, and Mickey Thompson's are better, but I want to get even better. So what we have right now for suspension-wise on this car is ground control, lowering spring setup, which is very easy to use, very good. And then now for the not so good part are my shocks. What we have on here are my used, very old SLK55, I think they're called KONI shocks. And these are the effing old style where how you have to adjust it is remove the whole shock from the car. And you only got 3 adjustments for rebound, and that's it. So I need more adjustments. So you might think, alright, you have a few options. Yes, I do have a few options. I could go with the KONI more updated ones where you could actually get 32 adjustments from the top so it's more serviceable inside the car, but that only adjusts one style of the shock, one aspect of the shock. So we'll go a quick little shock learning experience right now. So when you're drag racing and a lot of other things, you have rebound and compression. So compression is when the shock is actually compressing, and rebound is when it's shooting back up. So with a lot of those like KONI shocks, I don't even know how to really pronounce it, you only could adjust one of the things. Like with mine, I only could adjust rebound, and I only got 3 stages of that. So you kind of limit yourself on that. So what we bought today, not brand new, but used from a very good person, someone who had on the car. These shocks took his car, his Mercedes, into the 10s and most likely to the 9s. So we're going to show you what we got right over here. So what we got in my toolbox is some shocks that should be taking me to the next level. Bam! We got some Viking shock absorbers for the front and the rear. These are, yes, like I said, used. These are for a SLK55, but they should work because I already got SLK55 shocks on there. And they're double adjustable. So I could do rebound, compression. Now I might be saying this next word wrong, they're Dematic shocking styles. So how it kind of goes is think of like a little triangle. So down here, when you make an adjustment, it's going to have a big difference. Then when you start getting closer and closer, they make less and less of a difference for the clicking. How other ones are basically just like a parallel, like one click means one click all the way throughout. This one, the first like 2-3 clicks are big jumps, and they start getting narrow and narrow. I'll see how I like that. So these Viking shocks are their Warrior style. So it comes with basically, he sent me the bushings, the bolts, the hardware, everything that I need to put these on. And the bushings, like everything is very effing good. And if these do go bad, I can send it back out to Viking to get them rebuilt. So I got a medium good deal. I didn't get the best deal, but the whole big thing is I wanted these quick. I could have called Viking and get them brand new, but when I did talk to someone really quick on Viking, they said 3 to 4 weeks to get them. These I got in like 3 days. So that's why I want to get these, and I saved a little bit money buying them used, and I know these can make a 10-second car because they already have it. So today we're going to be throwing these bad girls on there. We're going to be adjusting the car, testing the car. I'm going to have to drive around with it a little bit. And the other thing we're going to be checking today, as I go around 70 miles an hour, the car has a horrible shake in the rear. And when I took it to the dyno, it had a horrible shake in the rear. So I know it's something in the rear. Hopefully that's just tires I got to get bounced. But we're also going to look over the whole car suspension-wise and see if there's anything crazy or anything weird with the car. And no matter what, these shocks have a lot less mileage and are a lot better off than the ones I got on the effing car. Mainly because the ones I got in the car were raced on a SLK55 for years, and then I slapped them on here with a crap load of launches, and they weren't the best shocks anyways. So hopefully, maybe, not hopefully, but maybe one of these are blown out, so these shocks are going to be a good upgrade and a preventative maintenance item. So let's get this car in the air. Also, these shocks might change the ride height of the car, because if I go super high on the compression, it won't let it actually compress as easy as those will. So we'll see how that all works out. If anything, these are ground control, adjustable, basically spring setups. It's very easy to adjust it. So if I have to lower or higher the car, very easy to do. Let's start knocking these out. These should not be a hard thing to install. Alright, we're going to start very simple. Just be taking the wheel off and then inspecting them and then pulling the actual shock out. And if some of you guys don't know and you kind of like these rims, these are my magnesium rims. They are effing very, very light. And that's my left hand. So if you want a set of these, go buy yourself some. They're very light. So now we're under here with the wheel. The shock is right here. Not really loose or anything crazy. First thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up top and actually undo the bolt and the nut up top. And then that should allow me to kind of compress it and help wiggle this shock out. But I'm going to show you step by step. Alright, so the nut you're looking for is right here, which for me it's a 17, but I don't really have a factory setup. You might have a different one. You just whiz it out. There you go. So I'm going to leave it in. Nah, I really shouldn't need to. Let's take this bad girl out. And then there's also the little plates and all that stuff. Make sure you grab that. So that's the whole bushing. This is the factory setup. I don't know if I'll still need this with the new shocks, but I'm going to keep it anyways. Because the new shocks do have all these on them, but we'll see if I need those or don't need those. But because these look brand new. Okay, so the next bolt you got to get to is right here, which is a 16, which is the nut. And then you come to the other side, and you got the actual right there. Where at, Mr. Camera? I can't even find you on the camera. Right there, right there. That one right there. So we're going to knock those bolts out, pull them out, and the shock should be able to compress and come out. Should be able to. Pretty easy. I might have to knock that bolt out a little bit. If you do need to tap the bolt, get a rubber mallet or something, or a dead blow. Don't hit it with an actual steel hammer. Don't do anything crazy like that. These bolts should come out pretty easily. See? 1 or 2 taps and that bad girl's out. Also, small recommendation, thread nuts back on, easy. Now I'm hoping I could just like compress this, seems pretty easy, and kind of wiggle it out without pulling everything effing off this car. Okay, you're gonna need a pry bar. This might take me a little bit. Okay, found another trick. Push down with it. Yeah, you go down with it, and then you can squeeze that bad girl right out. Yeah, that'll come out. So I just got to get it off the perch in here. So once I slide it off the perch, this should come out. All right, so we got the shock out. This one seemed pretty good still. So this is the factory little dust shield. So to show you how I have to effing adjust these every time, you see this teeny little dot pin right there? We'll focus in on it. Look at that brass thing. So how you have to do is you have to put it in a vise, push that button down, and then rotate it. It effing sucks because you have to do it off the car. So these new ones, I'm hoping will just slide right in and make my day horribly better. Because I had to buy these and I wish these didn't go out. But we're going to see how they work with the new Viking ones. And hopefully everything goes well. So what it looks like is literally you put it in the exact same effing order. It shouldn't matter. This should be the top of it for the front. Or actually these are the rear. Because he did me a favor and label it. So we'll put these bad girls in. Like I said, this should be the top. This should be the bottom. I'm going to have to adjust it from in the car. I'm going to do a pre-setup. Once I get it in there, we're going to debate on how we want to set these up. But I'll show you after the fact. Because literally it's just, you're going to slide this in. Both up top, both on the bottom. There should be nothing crazy. If I come into something crazy, I'll stop. I'll put the camera back on and show you. So we got the shock in. That was really effing easy. There was one little trick I need to show you that I had to do. So I got the little jack under there just because the knobs, when I was trying to put it in, they were slowly, they just barely were tapping it. I didn't want to break anything. So all I did was bring this up like an inch if even. And then once it's past there, perfectly good. So we have everything hand tight, because if you know anything, you do not want to tighten up any suspension stuff until you have full weight on the car. Now, one disadvantage I am seeing, to adjust these, I'm going to have to get the car lifted up like somewhat, because I don't know if I can sneak my hand in there just because they're so high up. That might be a disadvantage, but that's a lot better than removing a shock. At least at the track, I could just jack it up a little bit and adjust those. That's better than removing the whole shock. So we're literally going to do it to the other side, but the fronts were pretty straight effing forward and easy to do. Now, we didn't reuse the factory little perches. We're going with these style, the ones that came with it, because they look new, and they fit right on. So we're going to throw the other side on, and then expect the rear, because the rear is where I had all that vibration, and check all those shocks out. So I got the fronts all on, and yeah, I could adjust them. I don't know if you could actually see in there, right there. Yeah, you see, I can get my hand in there and I can do the adjustments up front. Also, what I do want to show you guys, focus, is the actual body of these shocks is wider. Like, I don't know if you could tell on camera, but that is a pretty big difference. And that's good. That means there's more fluid in here to actually go back and forth with the piston. So it's definitely going to be an upgrade there. And now I got two-way adjustable. So we got the fronts all done. Now we're going to go on to the rears. I will have to play with the adjustments, but let's knock out the rear and let me examine the whole rear to see if I find anything stupid. All right, so since I got the vibration, I want to check the drive shaft. So give it a good little wiggle. Nothing really there. We'll go to the other part of the drive shaft by the diff. See if maybe the Guidos. I mean, a little bit. You can hear a little bit on this joint right up here. I don't know if you can see that with the camera. Maybe that's the vibration. I don't really see anything really too crazy over here. Let's keep looking. There's my whole fuel regulator set up. Nothing really there. I don't know. Check shocks. That's good. Yeah. Yeah. That one. Ooh, that ain't good. Hold up. Why is that dropped? That concerns me. Let me try something. Oh, yeah. That shock's effed. This shock is moving this. I don't know if you can even see it. Let me see if I can try to, like, I can move this whole, like, can you see? I don't know if you can see it through the camera, but this whole area shakes. So, good thing I got new shocks. And then we'll have to reposition this to get this secured, because this might be my shaking, because this shock is moving super easily right now. I think it's blown out. Let's take this wheel and pull that shock out. This literally should be the same as the front. This should be just a 16. You undo there, and then you go inside the trunk and do the top one. It literally should be identical. Yeah, for the rear, it should be almost the same. We're going to do the same thing. Start with the wheel. We're also going to give it a good once-over, like, that's not good. This, I'm pretty sure the shock is kind of blown out because I should not be able to push this up by hand with these settings because it's set the exact same the other side is, and I can't move the other side for all. So my theory is, while I'm going, this is bouncing around, and right around 80, it's just going out of control, and then it kind of like shakes this spring out of alignment. So we're going to put the new shocks on and do all that. So it should be the same thing where it's a 16 down here, just like the other one. We'll pull that bolt out and then go in the trunk. All right, the bottom's just like the other side. You just got the nut right there, and then the bolt on the other side, so you just whiz them off. I'm even on it. There you go. Bolt should come out. Store this, and then we move up to the top. So the top's pretty easy. There's a little cover that you pop out. Then once you move the carpet, you got a 17 millimeter right there. Put that bad girl on there and whiz it out. And then just take all the other plates and caps out of there. And then just pull it from the bottom just like you do the front. Okay, so we got all four shocks. And as you see, they're pretty effing easy. The back ones, basically once you take those two bolts out, those shocks drop pretty much right out after you compress them. Super effing easy. Super, how do I say this? Convenient of how easily those actually did go in. So now we got the car outside. I drove it around for a little bit. I let it settle. I've been doing quite a bit of adjustments to it. Now let me show you how I had to buy a special tool to help with adjustments. So if you could see, the adjuster, this is the rear of the car, is right back there, okay? So my car is not a big monster truck, not super high up or anything crazy like that, but it is kind of hard. I almost tripped to get those adjusters. I don't know if you can even see it on this one, but the front, they are back there. So I've been trying to shove my hand in there to get it, and I just can't. So every time I had to adjust, I had to keep jacking up the car. That is very inconvenient, very not that fun. When before, I was able to do it from the top. So that's a big disadvantage. But then I found on Amazon a huge screwdriver. This makes it 500 times easier. Let me show you. So you take my little screwdriver, I go right into there, and if you can see, now I can adjust it, because before, like, it's kind of hard to get your hand in there, and especially up front. But my teeny little adjuster, it could go straight, maybe this is too dark, but I could go straight over there and do all my little adjustments. So easy. So we got the car pretty much set up how I think I'm gonna want it. So now what we're gonna do is to take my little drag strip I got over here. We're gonna back the car up, do some slow motion footage. I'm gonna put some prep down, and we're gonna see how good it does. All right, one other thing we're kind of gonna do, I'm gonna throw some of my little makeshift prep on the ground just to give it a little bit stickier so we're not spinning so much, so I can see some good data. So we put some prep down. We didn't let it fully dry, and we heated it up a little bit, but not fully, because I want it to be kind of wet. I want to see the tire spin and make sure that the car actually sinks down and stays all the way forward instead of bouncing. So it's like our kind of prep, but not really prepped area. So we're going to set up some cameras and see what happens. Okay, one thing you could see with the suspension setup, I did back myself up, not really into the prep-ish, but it still was kind of slick. I wanted it to be like that because I wanted it to be have some wheel spin just to see what the car would do when it spun. But let's go look over the data and see. Okay, so I just looked over the footage. Not the biggest fan of how the rear is now sinking down now that I had kind of like changed the height and changed stuff around. So I lowered the compression by 6 turns. That should be extreme. So we're going to set up the camera and do one more time. I'm going to look over the footage. This is going to be the last time I'm doing it here, because then I'll just fine tune it at the track. But I'm hoping if I can see the rear squat down a little bit more now, then I'll be happy with taking it to the track. But right now, as if you looked at it, it didn't bounce like it used to bounce. So how it used to go was like you would hit it. Let me get something like kind of straightish. Bam! So you would floor the car and it'd go boop, boop, boop. So now it just goes like this and rides out. But I wanted to squat a little bit more and ride out. So I did 6 turns. We're going to see how that looks. So I'm going to do it, look through the slow motion again, and if it looks like it's too much, then I'm going to do it, back it off a little bit, then take it to the track later. But this is going to be one more hit with the slow motion camera with seeing how it's reacting. Then we're going to call it good for my mini little strip until I go to official drag strip where I can actually take time and go. So I just looked over the data, and you could actually see the rear end squatting so much better. Now it's actually transferring weight, night and day difference. So we're going to leave the settings. So far, happy. All right, so we basically got the new shocks all done up, everything. They're tested. We have the settings on what I think will be pretty good. I want to take to the drag strip, and I want to set up a slow motion camera there and actually see how it will react when you actually hook. So we're going to leave the settings how they are. I'm going to drive around a little bit more, stuff like that. So far, I've been driving it around. The car, they feel so much smoother. No really clue why. The other shocks might have been kind of worn out, but these Vikings ones feel so much smoother. Super happy with them. Easy install. I'll try to remember to put all the links to the numbers and all that stuff for these shocks behind me. Now remember, this shock setup is meant for a SLK32 W208, but they bolt right up. And since I'm lowering the car and raising the car and all that stuff, the length of the shocks, like that's basically what it was different. Doesn't really matter because I have a different height of the car anyways. So I'm super happy with it. And by driving around, the car did settle a little bit with this setup, but it still looks pretty good. So as you can see, the setup still looks pretty good. It does look a little bit higher in the rear, but not bad. I think if I add a little bit more compression to the front, it'll help it from not like sitting so low, but looks pretty good. So hopefully you guys like this video. We're going to be doing some more stuff to the SLK, taking it back to the drag strip, try to get even faster time, try to back up the other world's fastest time that we did. But hopefully you guys like it. Throw a like down, throw a comment down, and I'll catch you guys later.